Hey there, if you're a dog owner here in Hammond, Louisiana, then this is for you. We're going to walk through everything you need to know to find the absolute best trainer for you and your best friend.
You know, living in Hammond is pretty great, isn't it? I mean, who doesn't love a walk through downtown or a lazy afternoon at Murray Park? And, of course, you want your dog right there with you. Having a well-behaved pup just makes all of that so much better. Not just for you, but for your neighbors and the whole community.
All right, so here's what we've got on tap. We'll talk about training right here in town, go over your options, figure out how to pick a trainer, look at the costs, and then cover some local rules and resources. Let's get to it.
Okay, so training in our town, it's really more than just teaching sit or stay. Think about it. It's about making sure your dog is cool and collected when that train rumbles through town, or when you're walking past all the hustle and bustle near the university. A well-trained dog is a confident dog, one who can handle everyday life here.
So when you start looking for a trainer, their philosophy is a huge deal. You really want to find someone who focuses on positive reinforcement. This is the way to go. It's modern, it's backed by science, and it works. It's all about rewarding the good stuff your dog does, which builds this incredible bond of trust. No force, just teamwork.
Okay, so we know we're looking for positive methods. Now let's look at the different ways that training is offered. It's all about finding the right fit for your dog's personality and whatever you're hoping to achieve.
All right, so you've basically got two main paths, group classes or private lessons. Group classes are awesome for getting your dog used to being around other dogs and people. Plus, they're usually easier on the wallet. But private lessons, that's where you get that one-on-one focus. Perfect for tackling specific things, like your dog going crazy every time the doorbell rings.
And within those, you'll see a few common programs. You've got puppy training, that's for getting the basics down, like potty training and no biting. Then there's basic obedience for things like sit, stay, and walking nicely on a leash. Behavior modification is for the tougher stuff, like anxiety or reactivity. And finally, board and train, which is like a total immersion boot camp for your dog. Just knowing what you need really helps you narrow down your search.
All right, let's move on to the really important stuff. How to actually vet a trainer and make sure you're picking the right person for the job. So here's something you should know. Louisiana doesn't actually have a licensing requirement for dog trainers. That's why certifications are so valuable. When you see letters like these after a trainer's name, it means they've gone the extra mile. They've passed tough exams, and they're dedicated to keeping up with the best, most humane methods. It's a real sign of a pro. Here's the absolute bottom line. Training is all about building trust with your dog. You want to strengthen that relationship, not break it with fear. So if any trainer talks about using intimidation, pain, or physical corrections, that's a major red flag. It's just not how effective humane training is done today.
So, when you're on the phone with a potential trainer, think of it like an interview. Here's your checklist. First, ask them straight up about their philosophy. You want to hear positive reinforcement. Then, ask if they've worked with your dog's specific issue before. Ask how they track progress. How will you know it's working? And of course, get a clear breakdown of all the fees so there are zero surprises down the road.
And speaking of fees, let's get into the money side of things. What can you actually expect to pay for dog training around here? Right? It's the question everyone has. So, what should you really be budgeting for training in and around Hammond?
Okay, so this chart gives you a pretty good idea of the average costs locally. A typical 6-week group class, you're looking at somewhere between, say, $140 and $250. A single private lesson will be a bit less than that per hour. Then you've got packages and the really intensive board and train programs, which are obviously a much bigger investment. And remember, a trainer's experience and certifications will definitely play into these prices.
You know, that single private lesson can be a fantastic starting point. For somewhere in that $80 to $140 range, you get an expert to look at exactly what's going on with your dog and give you a custom game plan. It's a great way to get started.
All right, so you've got your trainer, you're learning new skills. Now you have to take it all out into the real world, right? So let's finish up with some must-know local rules and a few of the best places to go practice.
First up, and this is a big one, the leash law. Here in Tangipahoa Parish, anytime your dog is off your property, they need to be on a leash. And that leash can't be longer than 6 feet. It's a simple rule that keeps everyone safe. So a standard 6-foot leash is exactly what you need.
And a couple other quick things to keep in mind. Your dog has to have a current rabies tag on their collar at all times. That tag is basically their license to be out and about. Also, be a good neighbor and keep an eye on excessive barking. That's actually a nuisance violation, and good training can for sure help with that.
Okay, so where can you go practice?
The Hammond Dog Park is awesome for working on recall in a safe, fenced area. For practicing that nice, relaxed leash walking, the Teach a Functie Trace is perfect. And if you want to teach your dog to just chill out in a public place with people around, Kate Square Park is the ideal spot.
You know, when you boil it all down, this is what it's all about. Training isn't just about stopping bad behaviors. It's about opening up a whole new world of things you can do with your dog. It makes life here in Hammond better for you, for your dog, and for everyone around you.
So happy training, a well-trained dog truly makes everything easier and more fun. Whether you're just relaxing at home, having friends over, or enjoying a beautiful day out in town, it really does lead to a much calmer and happier life for both of you.